We've done quite a bit on drills of the larger size to demonstrate what can be done, and now I'll go on about grinding smaller drills, also thinning the web on smaller drills. Now then, just before I do that, I'll just go back one little bit about thinning the web on a drill. And I'm trying to emphasize, what I'm trying to emphasize is that when you've got the web, we don't want that grinding, when we're thinning the web, to go past the web. Now then, there's an example of what I mean by past the web. You might be able to see that, I don't know, but you got this, you got that, you got this thinning of the web here, thinning of the web there. But on that second cutting edge there, I've deliberately gone past the web, and you can see that it's like a thin spot. If I turn it round, I've gone past the web on that side as well. So therefore you've got an area of the web that's quite thin. If you do that, then that web will fail. It's not good. It's not good karma, if you like. And so you want to avoid that. You come off that web. You come off right on the web. You don't go past the web when you're grinding. And if you press down that way, then that tends to go down that way. And that way, going that way, you increase the amount of cutting angle that you're putting on. But that way, when you press that way, you're going to. So you must be careful not to go past the web. And it pays to be a bit light and do it twice, rather than think you're going to do it the first time and it doesn't happen, and therefore you're stuck. You've got to grind the whole of the drill again to get a clear go at the web. Now then, this a 10 mil, 4 mil, and a 3 mil. That's a 10 mil. Sorry, I think it is. Yeah, yes, a 10 mil. Yeah. So here we go. So we'll grind that as if we're going to put in a machine now. So there we are. Now we've got the right included angle. I know that that's right. It's been used before, so it's got to be right. So we'll just grind that. What I can see is a bit of wear right on where the edge meets the land, so that's, I wanted to grind that now till we get that out. So we keep doing that. Now then, that ought to be in there. I grind equally both sides, so I know that it should have gone off both sides. That's quite sharp. That's quite sharp. Put it on your thumb. Look at it. Get a mental image. Look at it. Go back to make sure. If anything, that's a shade short, but not by much. Not by much. So I'm a little bit, no, that's within striking distance. So there we are. So we've ground that now. That's the angles there. Now we've got to thin the web. Now then, unfortunately, the web has already been thinned on this. So what I'll do, out of curiosity, I'll carry on grinding this to take more of it off. And then that'll... Oh, the light is bad here. Yeah. So we just... Watch my thumb as I turn, as I put the web angle on. So there's 3 actions there, in, round like that, and round like that. That is only very marginal. That angle, that thumb angle, that rotation determines the angle of the web, and that's got to be very close to 120 degrees. I've mentioned that before, and what I do, I look down the drill and I check that, and that's getting a bit hot. So I look down the drill and I can see that that's close. I don't have no problems anymore with getting that 120. That sort of comes automatically now. Now that thinning of the web now is reducing, because the further I go down this drill, the further away it gets. It disappears. I want to let it disappear completely, because otherwise it takes too much time. So there we are. So we got that. That looks like that. We've almost got a thin web. Now I'm going to go past you now. And I'm going to thin the web. So now then, what I want to do now is thin the web. You thin it like that. You put your thumb on there, your second finger on there, and then you're on that. You could do it off there, but it's I find to use the tool rest as a tool rest is a pain in the backside. Your fingers are much better. Put your one finger there, put your other finger there, put it on, and whichever finger you like. And then you got two fingers to control it. You got your other hand. Now then, I'm looking down there now. If I touch that, see how that's been touched, and that's been touched. That has been my datum point in the past, and that touches the periphery of the wheel first. Then you rotate it, and then when you feel it touching where the web is, you don't go any further than that, and you bring it across slightly to introduce that edge. And it's a bit of an acquired art. You won't get it right first time, or if you are, you're a damn good fella. Alright, so there you go. So I'm going to put it on there now. I can just feel it. I can just feel it. Now I'm going to rotate slightly. I'm going to rotate slightly and then come across. Rotate very slightly till you can see the web meeting the corner. And then I brought it across. See how that's thinned the web a little bit. It's slightly gone down the cutting edge, but I'm not too bothered about that. Now I come around here and I do the same here. Rotate. Just get that up just right. That's about right. Periphery of the wheel it's on. Now that's pretty damn good. That's a little bit too big. So then I look at the web. I don't want it too small. I want it about 1 mil. Now then that's getting a little bit small. And I've got a little bit, I just touched the cutting edge here when I was grinding that, and that's too big. So if I just bring that back a little bit, these spaces, that will bring it more into shape. And this is what you do, you've got to play with it for a bit. A couple more. And this is quite typical. As I was saying to you, I may have said to you that when you're grinding big drills, you can grind them on a machine. But if you're grinding small drills, you want a spare. And what I'd be doing now is grinding up a spare for the thing. Now then, the web here, the thinning of the web there is not as big as the web there, so I'm going to just take that a little bit more. So just put that on there. Just put it on there like that, and there it is. Now then, what you can do, that second cut-in face now, that second cut-in face is a neutral, got a neutral rake. In other words, when it's cutting, the rake is like that. It's cutting, it's at right angles to the work. Ideally, it ought to be like that, like scraping it off like a chisel. But you can, and I do often do in the past, is that if you want to increase production and you want to get that better and you've got plenty of time, as well as doing it there, you can actually bring it across here slightly. If you bring it across here, what you're doing is you're putting the positive rake on there. That's a neutral rake there on the web. But if you bring it slightly to there, it makes it a little bit more awkward to grind. But I'll just do it and just show you. You can see I'm not there and there now. And if I go back to where I was, back of the drill, bring it across, and then I can look at that. Now then I've gone beyond, you see, that has gone too far. So what I'll do, I'll just grind that back a little bit, and I've done what I said, what I was showing you with the big drill. I've gone too deep, and I've turned the web into a peninsula. So you just do that. You see. If you're doing it for production, you'll see people doing this. They'll be grinding a drill and looking at it and going back and doing it. What they're doing is getting that bang on, because when you put it into the machine, you want it to run for about 16 hours before it will be ground again. And therefore it's got to be spot on. So therefore what I've done, I've taken that back a little bit. I can put it on there now. There. Bring a little bit of a positive angle. Put the back on first, rotate, and then put the web on. Don't rotate too much, otherwise you reduce the web. You can dwell on there just to see. That's nice. Look at that. One face, about a third of the way down the cutting edge. That doesn't matter because it's got a positive rake now. And we'll come to this one. We'll do this the same. Positive rake on there. We're not like that. Positive rake on there. Put the back edge on. Put the back edge on. Rotate. Not too much. And that's pretty darn good. So we'll call that it on that one. Righto, and now we're going down now to, I think it's a 4 mil. Looks like a 4 mil. So we'll grind this now. This is the smaller one. The smaller you get, the sharper that angle needs to be. Now then, if you're 18 years old, 20 years old, you'll have good eyesight. I can't see that very well. So I'm doing it a little bit on guesswork, but what I'm doing is concentrating on that cutting edge being horizontal and this being horizontal. So therefore that's all I'm looking at. And then I just go to there. Now you see how that is much quicker action. You don't dwell on the stone very long, and the whole thing is reduced. I can look at that now, and I can see that I've got a double edge on one of them. So I go carry on, put that to there. 1, 2. All I can see is that cutting edge is at 120 degrees and it's horizontal to the ground, or to the surface of the earth, if you like. So we're roughly at 120. We don't have to worry too much about that. And we know that I know now that when I turn that little bit, I will get the angle 120 degrees on the web. And because it'll be the same for a big drill, it'll be the same for a small one. So I don't worry too much about those things. Don't worry anyway about it. Well, I hope not. Now what I got to do now is to get everything right. I'm going to grind that a little bit more because it's got the old web there. So we keep on grinding. Now I know that's roughly 120 degrees. They're both the same angle if they're not, and they're not far out, and therefore I know that. All I'm concerned about is the length of the cutting edges. So I put my thing like that now, my thumb. I can switch my light on now because I could do with a bit extra light. And I look at that, and I can see, and I see that is, I got a mental picture of that. Mental picture of that, mental picture of that, can rock it back and forth. This is a little bit too wide, this is more like 130 degrees, this angle, so I'm going to alter that. But the edges are approximately the same, and so I'm going to concentrate now on just bringing that included angle a bit closer to 120 degrees. So here we are, I'll do it in. That's good, looks about right. Still got a bit of the web left. That's not bad. Still got a bit of that old web left. That's what I don't like about it, because that throws your eye. But that's pretty good. So now all we got to do now is thin the web. So, let's get on with it. Now then, when you get it this small, you just got to present it to that sharp edge. And if I had time, I would redress that to make it really sharp, because you don't want a round edge in there because you just haven't got enough material to do. But you'll come down this edge. You don't want to go into your cutting phase too much. You just want to concentrate. And if you take a little bit of that back edge away, that doesn't matter so long as you get it right. But what you can do there is you haven't got the size now to be able to put any positive rake on it. It's a neutral rake, so it's parallel with the stone, and just go like that. I'm watching on the cutting edge now. I'm going to hit that first there and then check it. I'm looking at the angle now, the angle of the cutting edges, because I've got to guess it, you see. And so therefore, if you like now, you can actually put the back of your drill on the tool rest for the change, and you can just bring it in. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use my fingers. I'm just going to touch up that cutting edge. It's just influence the cutting edge a little bit, and you've got to rock back and forth now with a small drill like this if you're going to get it right. I want to bring that back a bit. Still influenced a little bit. I'm going to bring it out like a little bit more. If you make your webs too big, you can do this. You just grind a little bit more off the face, off the cutting edges, and that brings it into line. Just one more go. That's good. That's good. Yeah. That's pretty good for included angle. That's good for that. That's good for that. We could do it a little bit more doing on the web, but I'm a little bit reticent because I don't want to make the web too narrow. So I'll just do a little touch in it out of curiosity, and we leave it at that. So we come up there like that, get it right, get your angles, your cutting angles about 45 degrees, pop it on the back side, and then just move it forward towards the web. Do it moving forward a shade. That's good. That's pretty good this side. I'll just give it a touch. What I do, I try and make it better and then I make it worse, but you'll see. That's good. I'm happy with that. That's that one. Now then, what size is this? I'll just check what size this is because I just put them out. This is a 3mm. This is a 3mm drill, and it's actually in very good condition. I'm a bit reticent to do this, so I would leave that if it's up to me, but we'll give it a go and see how we get on. So that's been ground, and it's been thinned the web some time ago. Probably I done it 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it's looking good. And but I'm going to grind it off because I don't need the exercise, but just to show you. Now we're coming to the limits now of thinning the web. I mean, the trouble with this now is that angle isn't sharp enough. I would want that really sharp to do this, and I would have to redress the wheel. But we haven't got time because we're working with a camera, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But I just want to take that old web off on the old cutting face, and that's looking pretty good. So now then, guesswork now again. I got to now look at that. And I just want to push it up a little bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for more light. And I'm afraid that you may not be able to see this because but I cannot see that now. I can see that face now. So I got the cutting face parallel with the earth. Do that, turn over. Do that, turn over. Now because I cut it off flat to start, I know now that if I keep doing that until it comes to the right size, then those cutting faces ought to be the same length because I'm taking the same off every time. Now then, we've got a little bit to go yet, because I can see a flap where the center of the drill is. And I can see it's shining just right on the flat where I ground it off. It's still there. So we carry on. The important thing is to keep the cutting edges parallel, because that is with a small drill at the start, it's important. And the other thing is, when you're doing this, you do not want to overdo it. If you overdo it, you end up grinding the other edge. So they're quite short. Your actions are quite short. And I'll just have a look at that. That's good. 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 And I've ground all the way. So we're there. We're ready now to grind the web. In the web. That is, if I could do with a really sharp corner on there now, and I don't think I'm going to get it. But what I'm going to do to show you that I could try and get it is to just adjust this. I'm going to run out of time because I'm mucking about, and if I just do that, this is what I would do. That will tend to bring that corner back a bit. It wants a bit more than that. But now then, what we're going to do is thin the web on this. I'm afraid I'm going to have to keep that light on. I'm just going to have to keep that light on, because the light is that would be the sort of light you require to do this job, but it's too much for the camera. So I'm getting the cutting edges like that. I'm putting it like that. I'm just easing down that way to catch the back edge. When I see it, when I feel it almost, when I feel it touching that stone, I then move it to try and stop right on the web and reduce the web. Right, I'm on the stone now, and I'm going to just. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's taken away a little bit much of the cutting edge, but I'm not too bothered about that. I'm going to turn it round now and just have a look at that. It's a little, I overground that a bit, but it might be able to work our way out of that, because I can take some, I want that cut in place. Yeah. That's good, that one is. That one's a little bit deep. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the grinder. As a matter of fact, that is pretty darn good. I'm going to grind a little bit off. I'm going to grind a little bit off the cutting edges now, because what I've done, I overstretched the web a little bit, and therefore by taking a bit off the cutting edges, it rectifies that problem. So I just go to there, only short ones. That's looking pretty darn good to me. I could just take a little bit more off. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that now. You'll never get, if I turn that off. But you see, cutting faces, you want a good light for this. We really do want a good light for this. And I just cannot see that cutting face. But you get the cutting face parallel, and then you bring it up. Don't bring it up and turn so much as you do with a big drill, because otherwise you start to grind off the face of the other one, of the other side. So you just do, and then like that, and then like that. If you sort of turn it a lot, you'll find that out. But you'll find that out by experience. and you just got to play with it. Now then, I think that's about it. Let's see if we've got any time left on our little machine. Yeah, we still got time left on it. So I'm going to turn it off. So what we're going to do is I'll put the 3mm in, the 4mm, and see where that cuts all right. So that's working okay. Yeah, that's working okay. Now we will put the 3mm in and see how that performs. The web's reduced, and put that in. The drill. Let me just. Now 3mm is about the minimum you want to reduce the web, because as the drills go smaller, the web gets smaller anyway, and beyond 3mm, I mean, you don't need, well, it's very impossible to reduce the web, so we just carry on with this one. But you can see it cuts quite happily. And you don't need to reduce the. You don't need to have a pilot hole for drills. But with the 10mm one, what I'll do, I'll put it in drill press. It's got the steel. There's 13mm. It's industrial quality. It's not mild steel. It's quite a high carbon content. So it'll take a bit of drilling, but. I've set it 1000 RPM, well, just 950 RPM, and that should be enough to cut without it burning the land of the drill, and so it should last for some time, because the speed of cutting is not as important as well as maintaining the drill in a good condition, so it will drill quite a number of holes. So we'll just switch it on and see if it will perform. That's cutting quite happily, and I'm quite satisfied with that. There seems to be swarf coming out of both flukes, so it must be quite. And there we're through. So what I'll do, I'll undo that a little bit, go on it down, tap that around, walk around the way. Another hole then. A little bit more. A little bit more. That's it. So I'll just tighten that up. Try it again. That's drilling without any coolant. Swarf is coming off, it's not glue, so it's not pushing it, the speed is right. So just tap that around again, and we see how it goes. see roughly how long that takes. A 13 mil, about a mil every second, I would say. So about 13 seconds. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 and 14 and 15 and 16. So it's taken a little bit over a millisecond. A millisecond is quite good. And I put it in my bench drill, drill press, whatever you like to call them, and we'll give it a go on a piece of, this is engineering quality steel, it's not mild steel. It's 25 mil thick, quite a big chunk. This is only a drill out of a Bosch DIY set, so it's not a particularly good drill, satisfactory. So I'm going to put water on it just out of curiosity because it's got quite a long way to go. So this is the water here. It's got my own little contraption. I've set it up for, I can turn that around and have a look at the belt drive about 1,000. It's for 50 cycles. The belt is on is 915, which is all right. A little bit slow, but it's good enough. I can turn that around. This is on where the depth gauge used to be. It was broken, so I took it off. I put a platform on there, drilled a 40 mil hole, a 38 mil hole in there, cut it in half, and clamped it on with the piece that I cut. There we are. Put I'm always using them, milk cans on top, and then I put a tube into the milk can. That's interesting, to drill a hole in a milk can. That's quite an achievement. There's another hole drilled there. That goes into the water, that goes into the air. At the top, this comes along, and therefore it can act as a siphon. So all I got to do to set that going is blow into there. It increases the air pressure in, throws it in there. Once it starts, it won't stop until I pull that out. And that's the way that works. Now then, what we'll do is, we're on no time schedule. I just want to see if it'll if it'll drill that much in a reasonable amount of time. I've set it up with clamps to make it really secure because I don't want it flying all over the place. And I'll get a bit high so I'm above it, and we'll set it going and see what happens. Okay, so I'll just blow in there and get it to go. There's the water's running now. Look, I put water in. I could put fluid in, but I don't know where it is, and I can't be fussed to go and well, look at it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. See what happens. Water stop. It's a shame. No, the water stop. The water stopped, so I can't be fussed with that. I'm going to do it without water. We do it dry. There we are, it's through. 2 seconds to a 50 seconds, 25 mil. Pull that up now and I'll stop that from running. I pull that out. That's it. I wonder why the water stopped. Must be a blockage there somewhere. So that was 54 seconds to 25 mil. So we're ready for another go. So let's put that on. Get that nice and tight. Hopefully the water will behave itself this time. There could be a bit of dirt in there. There we got water this time. Just turn it around. All very complicated, isn't it? There we are, that's good enough. Pick it up. Time. I have got cutting fluid, but I don't know what I've done with it. 2 holes. That's not bad, pretty good. So we'll just check the drill now, see what condition it's in. So we just have a look at that drill, and you can see that it's virtually untouched. So that just goes to show that that could drill that material for, well, an hour, perhaps 2 hours without any problems. So that's it, folks. That's our 10mm drill. It's looking as good as when it was ground. It's drilled 2 holes in 25mm. That's 50mm of high carbon steel, and it's looking as good as it was when it was ground. So it would drill many, probably dozens of holes like that. It's bang on size, just would comfortably just fit through the hole it's drilled. So everything looks pretty good. So that just goes to show that if you take a bit of care and grind your drills correctly, then you should get good performance out of them without a lot of bother. And finally, what you've got here is what I suggest perhaps you make up is a little gauge, a little template. There's a diamond dresser, 6-inch rule, little piece of white plastic out of a bucket or something like that, so you can put your rule like that, put it against there, allow a little bit of a gap for the bit of white to show through, and you've got to stop there to stop that, and then you can just put your drill on there, and you can see exactly the lengths, which is very important, the lengths of the cutting faces. And if you get a chance of acquiring a telescopic sight of an air rifle or whatever, then you can make one of those. So that'll go well with your toolkit. I hope everything goes well with you, and goodbye.